With the year 2017 wrapping up, now I can finally talk about my top 5 favorite comic book movies of 2017 with some honorable mentions. So if you guys want to hear my top 5 comic book movies of 2017, make sure you guys definitely stay tuned. How's it going, Webheads? My name is Ryan Walsh, and before we get into this video, make sure you guys definitely subscribe to Webhead for more on comic book movies in 2018. I have plenty of videos coming out about all the movies that are coming out in 2018, so make sure you guys definitely stay tuned for that. Turn on that bell notification so you guys don't miss anything on my channel, and make sure you guys definitely comment below and let me know what your top 5 comic book movies are from 2017. I want to hear all of your lists below. But with all that out of the way, let's get in the video, Webheads. So of course for this video, I'm going to be starting off at number 5 and then working my way all the way up to my number 1. Of course, number 1 is going to be my favorite movie of 2017, and then number 5 is going to be my 5th favorite movie from 2017, so on and so forth. So let's start off at number 5, and at number 5 I have Wonder Woman. Now if you guys were a part of the Webhead community when that movie came out, you guys probably saw my movie review for Wonder Woman, and you guys know that I absolutely adored that movie. I thought that movie was really good. I personally thought after a little bit of time went by, that movie was a little overhyped. In my opinion, I didn't think it was as good as a lot of other people, but I did think that it was a really good movie. I have to say the one thing that I really liked about the movie was how they portrayed the Amazons in the movie and how they portrayed Wonder Woman and Steve Trevor. I thought all the main characters and all the Amazons in the movie were really good, and I thought that was definitely one of the best movies of this entire year, just because Wonder Woman is such an iconic character, and I think they really pulled off the character of Wonder Woman without making it cheesy or corny. But fortunately, the director Patty Jenkins actually made Wonder Woman very relatable. It made her really come off as really cool. I mean, like the scenes that when she's in no man's land and she's deflecting bullets and she's taking all the fire for Steve Trevor and all of the other army men that were there. I honestly thought that was probably one of the best moments in a 2017 movie in general, because that moment was so powerful and it really showed how cool Wonder Woman actually could be. And I know a lot of female comic book fans have been waiting for Wonder Woman to finally come out, and thank God it was actually good. So I'm just really happy that we finally have a good Wonder Woman movie that we can definitely rewatch. At number 4, I have Justice League. Now I know Justice League is definitely one of my favorite movies of the entire year. Of course, there's just 3 movies I thought that were just a little bit better than Justice League, but Justice League, in my opinion, is actually an underrated movie. Unlike Wonder Woman, I thought that was overhyped. I think Justice League is completely underrated from most of the people that are reviewing the movie. I really did like Justice League. I didn't have any big problems with the movie like a lot of other people did. I thought everybody was kind of balanced the right way. I thought Batman maybe was a little too comedic at parts, and I thought Aquaman probably needed to have a little more screen time along with the Flash, but other than that, I thought the movie was really good. I didn't have too many problems with it. I know a lot of people are kind of going after Steppenwolf and really saying that he's one of the worst villains in any comic book movie, and I can't say I disagree with that. He isn't a great villain by any means of the stretch, but at the same time, I didn't have really a problem with him. I had more problem with Ultron than I did with Steppenwolf. I personally just didn't really expect anything from that villain, so I wasn't disappointed when I came out of the movie when I didn't really see much of Steppenwolf and I didn't really get anything about him. I just thought he was an okay villain, and I didn't think anything of it, and I didn't think that took away from the movie at all, because personally, what I really wanted to see was just the focus on the Justice League coming together, and I feel as though I got that. We got to see Superman come back to life and fight off the Justice League. I thought that was probably the best part of the entire movie. I absolutely love that. We finally got to see Flash, Aquaman, and Cyborg on screen for the first time, and I gotta say, my favorite definitely is probably Cyborg out of all of them, because honestly, I thought Cyborg had a better backstory than any of the other characters that we got from him, and I really thought that that character was really done well in the film. And I thought that almost every single character was done well, except for Aquaman. Of course, I mentioned that earlier because I thought Aquaman should have been portrayed a little bit better, but other than that, I thought that movie was pretty good, so I had to give it my number 4 spot. At number 3, I have Spider-Man Homecoming. Now, of course, all you guys know that I'm a huge Spider-Man fan. I absolutely love Spider-Man. So when I saw Spider-Man Homecoming, I definitely was a little nervous to see that movie, but overall, I was very impressed with what they did with that movie, because it didn't copy anything that Sam Raimi did with the Tobey Maguire trilogy or what Mark Webb did with the Andrew Garfield movies. They didn't copy anything of the previous Spider-Man movies. Instead, they did their own Spider-Man movie, and it definitely felt like Spider-Man was actually in high school. Tom Holland's around that age where he can definitely pass as a high school student, and it definitely felt like he was in an actual high school. It didn't feel like he was on a Hollywood set or anything like that, like it did in the Tobey Maguire movies or the Andrew Garfield movies. I really really felt like he was a high school student. And I like how much he actually was in the high school instead of just swinging around and being Spider-Man. And I thought they really captured who Peter Parker is and who Spider-Man is and how he's just a nerdy kid that gets bullied in school. And I like how they kind of brought it up to modern times. I mean, all the other Spider-Mans were kind of brought up to modern times, but I thought this one was definitely brought up a little bit more, where it isn't really just a physical bully, it's more of a verbal and mental bully that Flash Thompson took on. Instead of just beating up Peter Parker, he verbally abused him, and I thought that was a little bit better than showing Flash just beat him up in the high school again and again and again. We've seen it a million times, and I'm glad that they didn't do the origin story like they've always done before. And then the Vulture was definitely a standout for that movie as well. I thought the Vulture was probably one of the best MCU villains ever. And that's not really saying much because the MCU doesn't really have that great of villains, but in my opinion, the Vulture definitely is a standout throughout all of those villains because you actually understood that character, and they have one twist in the movie that I thought was just perfectly executed. Not to say this Spider-Man movie is probably one of my favorite Spider-Man movies behind Spider-Man 2 because I think that movie is just flawless, but I had to give this Spider-Man Homecoming my number 3 spot. At number 2, I have Logan. Now, Logan definitely was fighting for that number 1 spot because I thought this movie was flawless, and honestly, my number 2 and my number 1 could go back and forth on this because those movies were just so good, and I absolutely loved both of those movies. But honestly, Logan is just a completely different Wolverine film and just a completely different comic book film all in all. Because honestly, when I was watching that movie, and I still watch it all the time because I think it's a phenomenal movie, but honestly, like when I watch that movie, I don't feel like I'm watching a Wolverine movie at all. I feel like I'm just watching a really good film. And they did a great job with the Wolverine character. I like how it's an old man Logan storyline. It's much better than any of the other previous Wolverines, and honestly, any of the other X-Men movies in general, except for Deadpool. I think Deadpool is just a little bit better than Logan in my opinion, just because Deadpool is that good. But out of all the X-Men movies, this definitely is one of my top favorites because I just thought they did such a great job with Logan as a character, and Professor X and X-23. All three of those characters were executed perfectly. Of course, personally, I had a little bit of a problem with the villain because I didn't really know anything about that character. I didn't think it was really a good character at all. I didn't really understand those characters, and I felt as though they could have done a little bit more with them. But honestly, that's just nitpicking at this point because other than that, this movie was perfection, and it definitely deserves to be at my number 2 spot. Now, before I get into my number 1, I want to go down the list and just name off some of my honorable mentions that I have for my top 5 list. In my honorable mentions, I have Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. I personally think this is a very underrated Guardians of the Galaxy film, but I still had a lot of fun with this film. Unfortunately, it didn't make my top 5 of the year, but I still thought this was very good and probably would be coming in at number 6. Another one is Power Rangers. Now, I think personally for me, I wasn't really expecting that much from this Power Rangers movie. I didn't think it was going to be that good, but honestly, when I came out of the movie, I had fun with it. I had a lot of fun with it. I was very excited to see a sequel to this. I don't think we're going to be getting a sequel to the Power Rangers movie because it really didn't make that much money, but personally, I thought it was a really good movie, and I'm just happy that they made a good Power Rangers movie. And then last on my honorable mentions is Star Wars The Last Jedi. Of course, most of you guys probably saw that movie review because I just put that out. But obviously, I didn't really think this movie was as great as all the other ones. This probably would make it in my top 10 for the year because I still thought it was a pretty good movie. But all in all, I thought it was a very disappointing movie, so that's why I kept it out of my top 5 because it just didn't make that cut at all. And when I was planning on making this video, I actually thought this was probably going to be at my number 2 or my number 3 spot. I didn't think it was going to beat out Logan or my number 1 spot, but I thought this was definitely going to be up there. But now, with all of those honorable mentions out of the way, let's get into my number 1 spot. And at my number 1, I have Thor Ragnarok. Now, I had to give my number 1 spot to Thor Ragnarok because honestly, I could not get enough of that movie. I thought that movie was so much fun compared to all the other movies I saw this year. I had so much fun going in and coming out of that theater. From start to finish, I thought that movie was almost flawless. Of course, there's going to be a couple problems with the movie, but overall, I had so much fun with this movie. I was laughing so hard from beginning to end. I couldn't stop laughing. I couldn't stop having fun in this movie. I thought this was a great way to reinvent Thor as a character and take him in a new direction, along with the Hulk and along with all the Asgard and just everybody that we've seen in those previous Thor movies. Coming out of Thor The Dark World, I was actually very disappointed with that movie. And now seeing them actually switch it up as much as they did, I was surprised to see this many changes in one movie, but honestly, from what I saw from Thor The Dark World and even the original Thor, which I like a lot, I personally thought that this was such a far superior film to what we saw in the last Thor movies, and I cannot wait to see Thor in Avengers Infinity War and Avengers 4 coming out. Hopefully they make a Thor 4 because honestly, I want to see Taika Waititi come back and direct another Thor movie. And I want Hulk in there, I want Valkyrie in there, I want Korg, Meek, Heimdall. I want all of those characters back in the movie so I can see all those characters interact in a different movie. I thought this movie was almost flawless. I had so much fun, and I can't say enough about the movie because it was just so good. Everything on Zakar was great, and I absolutely loved how they put Surtur the Fire Demon on screen and how we got to see him completely destroy Asgard. I thought this movie was so much fun, and it definitely deserves my #1 spot of my favorite comic book movies of 2017. But of course, guys, I do have a video coming up about my most anticipated movies of 2018 and all of the comic book movies that are coming out in 2018. I'll be going through all of those in a couple of days. I'm probably going to put that up, but guys, definitely stay tuned for that. Make sure you guys definitely subscribe to Webhead for more of these comic book movie videos coming out on my channel. I have plenty coming out as 2018 rolls on in. And of course, make sure you guys definitely turn on that notification bell so you guys get to keep up to date with all my latest uploads. Make sure you guys definitely smash that like button if you guys like this video and you guys want to see more just like it. And of course, comment below and let me know your top 5 movies of 2017. I want to hear them down in the comments below. But guys, thank you very much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Bye-bye. Alrighty, Webheads, if you guys like this video and you guys want to see more, make sure you guys definitely subscribe right over here to Webhead. I have plenty more videos coming out on comic book movies going forward into 2018, so make sure you guys definitely subscribe for that. Make sure you guys definitely check out my social media links in the description below so you guys can follow me on various social media networks. And of course, make sure you guys definitely check out the 2 videos below me. I think you guys would really, really enjoy it. But thank you guys very much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Bye-bye.